Welcome back to Postal Opal. Today we're looking at an orange opal. So I took this off the wheel, got it in a circle shape, and this is the close-up view of it before I start grinding it with the Nova points. The color in this, it has high color play. Has orange, green, uh, some blue, so it looks really nice. I'm starting on the 240 grit Nova Point, and yeah, I really liked this one. It was another straightforward one. It's always nice when that happens. I didn't run into any unforeseen issues with it. There were a couple sand spots on the side that you could see in the first close-up video, but those came out pretty quickly. This is a high dome, and I ended up actually giving this to my daughter. I put it in a circle setting, set in sterling silver, and put it in a necklace and gave it to her for her birthday, and she was really, really happy about it. It's her first piece of opal jewelry I've given her, so it was a big deal. Now this ended up weighing, I believe, 3.2 carats. Um, it was probably 3.7 carats before I took it to the wheel. I did not lose that much. It was a very, very good result. It had it. Well, the rough had a huge chunk of opal, and that's what you're seeing. And uh, you just can't ask for a better situation, because when you get these when they're covered in the rough, in the dirt, sand, and everything, you have an idea of what you're gonna get, but you never know what's really lying beneath, and that's why you'll see people use like a light, uh, a high penetrating light to see if there's any uh, inclusions on the inside. Uh, and so yeah, this one, it had no inclusions like deep embedded into it. It was all surface level uh, dirt and sand. So you can't ask for a better situation to walk into on that one. And that does not happen that often. Whenever you're looking at it in its rough form, you always want to try calculate what can I get the best shape that yields the highest amount of carats. And sometimes there's, you know, roadblocks, speed bumps along the way, and you have to adjust. But with this one, I guessed correctly. I said circle, that'll give me the highest carat amount, and I can do a high dome on it, and it worked out. But that's not always the case. If you get into this, you have to get a template with all the shapes. It'll give you precise shapes, and you can use that. You can put that template over what you're looking at and really measure out the highest amount of carat yield with the according shape. It has a bunch of different shapes on it at varying sizes, and you can pick the biggest size with what you have in front of you. So it really takes out a lot of guesswork, and it gives you the most accuracy when doing this. So the first two things you should get is a template and C95 masks, or some sort of high grade mask to uh, keep keep you from inhaling the silica and getting silica poisoning. You do not want that. So it looks like I'm on the 1200 Nova Point, and yeah, I'm what I'm doing right now. So from like the 1200 on, I am refining that dome. I want it to be completely symmetrical. So I go around it over and over and over. And you're how I do it, I would assume this is how everybody domes their opal, but you start from the outside of the circumference, and you go around and around and around, and it eventually just trims down and naturally domes it because you're going in tighter and tighter circles around the top, and it creates a nice tight dome, and it turns completely symmetrical that way. So I'm just doing that. I'm going over the top too, but you'll be seeing me go in like a circular fashion around the top. And then you want to just keep covering every square centimeter of that opal with every single nova point. I would highly recommend doing this to anybody if you have anxiety, or you know you have you feel down. I would recommend picking up any sort of craft or skill and just learning it. See how good you can get at doing something. You only get to live this life once, so this is one of the things that I'm always going to try being my best at and learning from. And the mistakes, the failures, they only help create the successes in the future. So never be too hard on yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. This is all just for fun, anyways. Here I am on the 50,000 grit, and it's a great feeling. You know, you're almost done doing it at this point. I'm making sure everything is uniform and just getting every part of that opal hit by that 50,000 grit nova point. I'd like to thank everybody that watches my videos too, because it's something that I do to relieve stress and anxiety, and it I hope that it translates to the viewers too. It can be something relaxing, and you can just get your head out of the world for whatever amount of time it is. Um, I love doing this. I'll always do it, and I'm glad that I have an outlet to actually show the process and what you start with and what you end up with. I like to think that we're all just like Opal. We may get roughed up by life, end up in a rough place, but in the end, if you're persistent and diligent and you peel away those layers that have given you a rough exterior towards life and a rough outlook towards life, you can find the brightness and beauty that lies within you. Nobody's perfect in the end, but nobody's also irredeemable. So take that with what you will. So we are almost done with the 50,000 nova point. Now we're doing the polish. I'm using the cerium oxide polish as usual. I've had fantastic results with this polish. I love it. And we are in the home stretch. This is where it gets really slippery. I should have a drop count for how many times it flies out of my hand. Yeah, this is when you get really excited because you really get to see what it'll look like. You know, once you finish, but it's usually full of water. You get more excited that you've finished it. I finished what I set out to do. This is done, and it is beautiful. I love it, but there is that waiting portion. I wait like 5 days till I add the result video, because then all the water's out of it and it's dried up. So here we go. The result. Look at that. It just flows over the front, over the top. It's like fire. Now, it's a broad flash, but it also has like a chaff pattern too, like a scratchy look. It's really crazy. I'm so happy with how this one turned out. I'm so glad I could give it to my daughter, someone that is much more beautiful than Opal. Thanks, guys. Like and subscribe. Have a good one.